Now loading podcast, period.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to Podcast Period, the internet's stupidest podcast. My name is Ben, and with me, for the second time that I've recorded this, is my co-host, David.
What's up, guys?
It's been another night of technical issues. Hopefully, we don't have them anymore. But if we do, we might just have to delay this episode because I don't know what's going on. If we don't, then you're hearing this and the episode went fine. So I guess we'll see. Anyway,
It's cursed.
let's just hop into the episode. We've got some stuff that we've gathered throughout the internet. We're going to talk about the rest of Loki and Black Widow. And we've got a few trailers that we're going to watch. So get ready for that. Anyway, so David, you remember a few episodes ago we talked about that Alzheimer's drug from Biogen in Massachusetts.
Yeah, we were pretty peeved off about that.
Yes, we were. So, they have decided that since nobody's willing to take a chance on their Alzheimer's drug, that they're going to make everybody think that they have Alzheimer's by releasing a test that apparently nobody can pass. So I'm going to give you the part of this test real quick and see how you do, okay? Do you ever forget things like a doctor's appointment or a lunch date?
I have.
Okay. Do you sometimes struggle to think of the right word for something common?
Oh, God, all the time.
Do you ever, at any point, feel more anxious and irritable than you typically do?
Doesn't everybody at some point?
Do you ever feel overwhelmed when trying to make a decision about anything?
You know me. I am a very I don't give a crap person. I can be very indecisive.
Have you at any point in your life felt overwhelmed trying to make a decision?
Overwhelmed? No.
No?
No, probably not. No, I take that back. I have.
Okay.
I failed this test miserably, didn't I?
Oh yeah, you've got Alzheimer's, David. Go to Biogen. They'll give you the right drug for you. So apparently, those were, I don't know if those were actual questions, but they were at least kind of the gist of the questions that were on this quiz from Biogen. So I answered fairly often twice out of 6 questions.
Mm-hmm.
And that means that I might want to have a discussion with my doctors about the possibility that I could have Alzheimer's at the age of 26. That doesn't sound right to me. It does not sound right to me at all.
I mean, we're asking about fairly typical behaviors that people
they're
could
not
experience.
wrong in that these are symptoms of like early onset Alzheimer's or dementia or whatever. But the fact of the matter is, these are things that happen to people. And if you're telling people, oh, because you have 2 out of 6 things that might be considered Alzheimer's symptoms, you should go see a doctor. No. If you have dementia, you're going to... and I'm not an expert. Let me just preface this with that. This is coming from my personal experience. You're going to have all of those symptoms. You're going to have all of them. There's no way around that. You're not going to have 2 out of 6. You're going to have all of them.
There's much better indications and much better signs that
exactly. Yeah.
something is astray that you may or may not pick up on immediately, but a loved one is going to.
There is something to be said about being more forgetful being a sign for dementia or early onset dementia, because it's something that, you know, my family noticed when before my grandmother got diagnosed with it. But it's also not to the point of where you're forgetting like innocuous things, right? You're forgetting things all of the time. This is multiple times throughout a single day.
Mm-hmm.
Forgetting something once or twice a week is not that big of a deal. But you can really start to notice it when they're forgetting things multiple times a day, forgetting appointments, forgetting things that they should do, forgetting weird things like, okay, so something that sticks out to me was my grandparents' house for a little while. This was after, I'm pretty sure after my grandmother was diagnosed with dementia, but she was still sort of the primary caretaker of my grandfather because he was disabled. She was still cooking and cleaning and everything, and she still had most of her cognitive ability about her to do that. She was just forgetful, you know? The thing that sticks out to me was there was a time where their house smelled, I don't want to say bad, but just didn't smell good for a little while. Mm-hmm. And come to find out, I don't remember how long it was, but my mom ended up searching around for it, and my grandmother had put away a pot full of asparagus just back in the cabinet. That's something that you do, you know? You don't necessarily think you forget that you didn't clean it. You just see a pot with a lid on it, you're like, oh, that's probably clean. Put it away.
Yeah, this whole thing with them is just one giant mess, and I don't agree with anything that they've not published, have published, tried to do. It's just a bunch of baloney.
Yeah.
It's all garbage.
Yeah. All that to say, David and I are kind of the same mind with this, where it's like, I mean, obviously, everybody else on the internet is pretty outraged by this too, because it's a really stupid test. But the fact that it's being pushed by this company that has this less than stellar Alzheimer's drug that they're trying to market, just doesn't sit well, you know?
Yeah, no, yeah. When we're old and gray, we'll have to remind each other not to go for this Biogen company if we need Alzheimer's treatment.
I mean, if we remember, right?
God help us both if we both end up in the boats. I'm already convinced I will. Just how my brain works as it is. I am forgetful, but it is spur of the moment forgetfulness. I won't forget about it entirely. I will just accidentally plan over it and then remember, oh crap, I already had to do something. And it'll be things that I'm not typically doing. I don't have to always go get a tire rotation or something, or something you promised to do something with somebody, or something that you don't normally do that goes outside of your routine. It's like, oh crap, I just double booked. But if you listen to these guys, then that would just mean I'm doomed right from the get-go.
I mean, that's what they want you to believe. You gotta love it. All right, let's move on from that before I start wanting to murder them again.
Alrighty, so this would be of interest to a lot of people out there on the Pacific Coast. There is a utility company, it is Pacific Gas and Electric, who has been known for a long while now. This has been going on for at least the last decade or so, that they don't necessarily have the best safety record on hand. They've had problems with equipment causing fires, like wildfires. They've had problems with gas line explosions. They have had problems with a multitude of things, including violating safety records and falsifying safety records.
Good.
Okay. For gas pipelines and everything else. So there's been a lot of that nonsense going on, but they have finally decided to do something about it. So Then, it only took a string of fires, criminal convictions, a bankruptcy, a multi-billion-dollar settlement, but they're finally going to actually start burying some power lines. So we're saying it only takes about 100 people to die before we're going to do something, right?
I mean, that sounds about right?
Utility said that it's going to bury 10,000 miles of power lines in places that are in the greatest risk for wildfires, and it's supposed to take 10 years and will touch about 10% of their transmission and distribution lines and will cost tens of billions of dollars.
The question is, with California's history of fires, why would they not have buried these underground in the first place?
Probably just the sheer cost.
I guess, but still, like, really? Like, what? Why? Why, though?
I don't know.
Why?
Cost prohibitive. It would have raised utility rates for the customers too much, and if it gets destroyed by fire, who cares? You just rebuild it, and it's a lot cheaper to rebuild that than it is. You could rebuild it a couple of times probably, than it is to just stick it under the ground to begin with. The problem I have is that they've been linked to causing fires, and still, like, okay, so it got hit by a fire or it got hit by a tornado and they had to fix it. Okay, big deal. Mother Nature got it. But no, this is like direct causation of these deadly fires. It's like, well, that's a different story.
Yeah.
But whatever. I can't say anything. TVA doesn't bury anything either, but then again, we're not in wildfire country, so.
I like the next paragraph in this article, where it says that they were planning to announce the project later this year, but they decided to move up the news release after it was found that they were the cause for a 104,000 acre fire that's still going on today. It started on July 13th, and we are 12 days later as of recording, and it's still burning. They've only got it 17% contained.
Yeah, good motivation.
Oh yeah, I can't. It's so dumb. Oh man. Okay, now that we're done bashing on them, how about we bash on our least favorite company?
Are they our least favorite at this point? It seems like we've bashed them more than anybody else.
I mean, on the outside looking in, I would say that this is probably our least favorite company, right? I mean, we started this episode with this podcast with AT&T, and I think they've been a pretty consistent player throughout the life of this podcast.
No, maybe if they wasn't such a terrible company and they actually did things in the interest of the consumer, we wouldn't have anything to complain about.
Maybe we wouldn't, but guess what? We still do, because this woman living in San Antonio had to wait 3+ months for broadband to be installed at her new home. AT&T was the only ISP available, but they decided to keep canceling the installs until she finally contacted her local news media. But 10 megabytes per second is okay.
Yep, that's gonna do you just fine. Nothing wrong with that.
I love it. It doesn't get any better than this. It really doesn't. Like, how do you try and be a worse company? Like, everybody gives crap to Comcast for their terrible customer service and everything, but I can't say that we've done I think we've done like maybe 1 or 2 stories on them. And AT&T has been, we're probably up in like 20 or 30 now.
It's a lot. It's a lot.
Like, I just don't understand. Like, why would you not just go give the poor lady her internet service? Like, really?
You would think that a corporation that is subject to shareholders, who is subject to making profits, would be more than eager to get this woman hooked up, because then that would just mean that they get to charge said woman for her monthly service, therefore creating more revenue. You would think that that would be a priority, but I guess not. Guess they don't want your money that bad.
It's amazing. It's amazing.
And it's a story of whatever they can do to provide the worst customer experience. That is the policy, and that is the guidelines that they are going to follow. If we can't get you service, great. If we can charge you a lot for a terrible service, great. Our objective is poor customer service. Put it as our company mission statement. I swear.
That's right. That's right. Oh, man. So she first scheduled an appointment in April, and they kept pushing it back and back and back and back. She was able to schedule another installation in May, but the installers never came to her house. For 3.5 months, she says she made countless efforts to get connected, including the one time she got an appointment and eagerly waited for technicians to arrive. Newman was at home waiting for installers to arrive when she got a message from AT&T saying, "We missed you." I'm like, "You never came to my house. How did you miss me?" AT&T installers had mistakenly gone to a different address in Alamo Heights, the report said. Oh. Like, how? The addresses cannot be that similar.
I don't know. I have no idea. It's just, they amaze me.
Amazes. Definitely a word you could use. Oh, man. Okay. I can't with AT&T. I don't know what else we can say beyond AT&T sucks. Still number one on our crap list.
Ain't going anywhere anytime soon, the way this is going.
Nope. All right, let's keep going.
So, good news. Finally. Awesome. Great. TSMC is signaling a global chip crunch may finally be easing a little bit. It has been, probably 5 or 6 consecutive quarters of just blatant supply chain issues, top to bottom. Can't get diddly squat for nothing. Because everybody and their mother needs chips for something. And everybody who can make them is at full capacity with constant disruptions from everything from COVID to natural disasters and everything in between. So, the article is focusing on car makers, but it's a good sign for everything from computer chips to graphics cards to other things that were affected, like appliances and whatnot. So,
especially all the new Ryzen chips.
Yeah, that's been
which are coming straight from TSMC.
that was a big hit for them at AMD too. So, car makers, which have been hit pretty hard, can expect a sharp upturn in chip supplies in the coming weeks. TSMC said, signaling that a global shortage may have moved past its most crippling stage. In the first 6 months of 2021, TSMC increased its output of microcontrolling units, an important component used for car electronics, by 30% compared to the same period last year. The largest contract chipmaker told investors on an earnings call on Thursday that MCU production is expected to be 60% higher for the full year than in 2020. So that's going to help a lot of different car companies. The only one that seems to have not been affected hugely is actually Toyota. And that's mostly because they went through this fiasco back in 2011 when they had the Fukushima disaster with the tsunami and everything else that happened with that. So they kind of diversified their production capabilities. And they're like the pioneers of the just-in-time supply chain concept. It's just everybody else kind of did it worse. Like, Toyota pioneered it, and they've perfected it all these years, but they also didn't necessarily fall back on these slack standards like everybody else, where, they didn't get shipments and now they're screwed. They've got plenty of, like, outsourcing that they've done. But, like, GM and Ford and Volkswagen and Honda and all that, they'll be in much better shape, hopefully. And maybe that'll help with the car industry as a whole, because used car prices are up. Because I know because I had to start looking. Thank God I don't have to look any further. I had a car accident, for those who don't know, and luckily my car will not be totaled. It is getting fixed. But I was panicking there for a little bit, so I was like, oh my God, these car prices suck! So that should help. And then that should help everybody else who wants other things as well. If the auto industry gets back on its feet, and then, they can use these fab capacities for other things as well. So hopefully everything will start to finally get better.
Guess we'll see. Let's hope so, shall we? Oh, man. Okay, so our next little article here is about Blizzard, or Activision Blizzard, I should say. California's state agency filed a lawsuit against them over allegations of rampant sexual discrimination and sexual harassment. The nature of this harassment is so widespread, the lawsuit says, that that women who have worked for the game maker almost universally confirmed that working for defendants was akin to working in a frat house, which, according to this lawsuit, means a workplace full of inebriated men who sexually harass their female colleagues without being punished for it. So, I should have gone and found the Twitter post that I first read about this in, because there were some specific things that it pointed out in this lawsuit that are very interesting. But a big thing, and obviously a big equal employment thing, is that male colleagues, even though they were usually less qualified than their female counterparts, were being promoted over their female colleagues to higher positions and getting raises and everything, and then just not doing any work. They were literally delegating all of their work to their subordinates, and no joke, it's been testified that they just sat around playing Call of Duty all day.
Yeah, here is a piece of the California Department of Fair Employment and Housing lawsuit that was filed. I don't exactly know if this is a subsection or just a point within the actual documents itself, but I'm going to assume this is a subsection 5. Defendants have also fostered a pervasive frat boy workplace culture that continues to thrive. In the office, women are subjected to cube crawls, in which male employees drink copious amounts of alcohol as they crawl their way through various cubicles in the office, and often engage in inappropriate behavior toward female employees. Male employees proudly come into work hungover, play video games for long periods of time during work while delegating their responsibilities to female employees, engaging in banter about their sexual encounters, and talking openly about female bodies, and jokes of rape.
So I found the specific part that I wanted to look at, subsections 36 and 37, if you happen to be looking at the lawsuit. And another example, a female employee who worked at Blizzard Entertainment was assigned to a lower level, denied equal pay, and passed over for a promotion despite multiple factors that suggest she'd earned it. Highly rated performance reviews. 2, she generated significantly more revenue in her marketing campaigns than her male counterpart. And 3, she ran almost twice as many campaigns as her male counterpart. Despite her accomplishments, her male counterpart was not invited to have monthly or weekly one-on-one meetings with the vice president. She was not afforded these same opportunities and unsurprisingly was passed over for a promotion in favor of her male counterpart. Similarly, other female employees at Blizzard Entertainment were assigned to lower-level roles, denied equal pay, and further delayed or passed over for promotions in favor of male counterparts who lacked the same experience or qualifications, but who were friends with the male head of the unit. A newly promoted male supervisor delegated his responsibilities to his now female subordinates in favor of playing Call of Duty. Other male supervisors would refuse to communicate with female employees, going to their male counterparts for information. Isn't that just sad?
This entire good old boy, I should say, system of corporate... It's just, at this point, this is just blatant sexism. Has got to stop. This is ridiculous.
Mm-hmm.
It's pure cancer on the industry and the entire corporate world as a whole to have this egregiously pointed out behavior. Clearly it's prevalent. Clearly it is a cancer culture environment.
Mm-hmm.
And it shows no signs of being corrected. So, great.
This whole thing with them, this is why people think that gamers are just terrible people. Because so much crap happens like this all the time, you know?
Yeah, they sure don't do themselves any favors.
No.
And it does give us, the rest of us, a pretty significant black eye. When all you have to do is point out crap like this and be like, yeah, you know, you're a part of that culture. You support this type of behavior by either A, supporting the companies directly, or B, just not saying anything about it,
mm-hmm.
and therefore also contributing to this type of behavior because you are silent against these actions and don't do anything to help it. So you're damned if you do and you're damned if you don't. And it just sucks.
All we can do is hope that this lawsuit does something.
Yes.
That if there are other companies like this, that they stop doing what they're doing, that they reverse course and just become decent human beings again.
Yeah.
Because this is
Let it be a
absolutely
wake-up
ridiculous. Yeah, for real. It's absolutely ridiculous that anybody should have to work in an environment like that, let alone a class of people that have routinely already been discriminated against, you know? It's just ridiculous. I don't understand why this is still a thing in 2021.
There's also, I forget exactly where it is. It was brought up. It's in here somewhere, but I can't find it. But there's also allegations that a female accompanied a male supervisor on a company trip and ended up committing suicide at some point.
Whoa.
As a result of said company trip.
Wow, okay.
Or at least that is the claims and allegations. Whether or not that's been substantiated yet, I'm not sure. But if there's anything like that, that will come to light during any kind of trial that happens, so, or lawsuit therein. So
yeah, no kidding.
Yeah,
good luck. Lord.
Good luck.
Okay, let's not talk about that anymore and talk about something that's hopefully a little bit more uplifting, shall we say.
So, remember how we kind of bashed the Switch Pro?
Mm-hmm.
And we were just questioning
Switch OLED
why?
edition or whatever?
Yeah, the OLED edition.
Uh-huh.
And it's like, why? Why would you bother? Well, here's another reason why not to bother. Valve, and I really wish they hadn't named it this, because every time I see this name, I automatically think of a totally unrelated product, the Stream Deck, which in its own right is a very valuable tool that I will have to add to my arsenal at one point. The Steam Deck is Valve's Switch-like portable PC starting at $399 this December. So pre-orders kicked off on July 16th, but you'll need an older Steam account to do it, apparently. So I guess you can't do like a new sign-in with a new account and try to do it. I guess you'd have to be like an established customer, which...
So it says, let's see, you need to use a Steam account that has made a purchase on Steam prior to June 2021 for the first 48 hours of reservation ability. This is obviously not a perfect solution, but at least it means for the first 48 hours of pre-order availability, these will go to actual customers and not people signing up for new Steam accounts just to reserve all of the units.
I think they could have done better. I like the sentiment behind this. I think you could have expanded the time frame of which this limited availability of pre-orders would be available to pre-existing customers. And I wanted you to say that you could have bumped up the purchase date just a little bit, but
I mean, it's only a month, 2 months ago.
Yeah,
not that bad.
It's not that bad. The only reason why I say that,
99% of the people that have a Steam account have bought something before that, unless you've literally just signed up.
No, well, the only reason why I said that was, but I don't think this is the case. The potential leak that could have signified that this was going to be a thing, and therefore had people creating these accounts and purchasing something beforehand. I think they could have done it like a month or two sooner. I don't think there's a leak issue. What I really think they should have done is kept it longer than just 48 hours. Yeah, maybe done a week.
Yeah, exactly. I think a reservation period of or an exclusive reservation period of like a week should be. Yeah, that seems to me a little bit more fair. But yeah,
and
you only have to deposit $5 right now, so it's not like you're necessarily pre-ordering it right away. I think you only have to pay for it once it comes out. It's still cool, though. You're right. This is definitely Valve's answer to the Nintendo Switch. Because they're like I was talking to you before we started recording the show, I didn't even realize there was a dock that they were planning on selling.
Yeah, I know. And that was my complaint with the OLED version of the Switch. Why not just do a Pro version of a dock? If you're not going to change the actual hardware capabilities itself, and all you're doing is adding that OLED screen, could you not have at least done a new dock and at least justified an upgrade? Now, why would you even bother if you have alternatives? Because you're not getting an upgrade. You're getting an OLED screen. It's not like it runs any better.
Yeah, I don't... If you already have a Nintendo Switch, there's no reason to go with the OLED model. Like, literally zero reason. The OLED isn't going to make a difference in that small of a screen.
No, it's not. And that was the whole
problem.
You're
not making it run any better. At all.
If you made it run better, then we'd have a different discussion.
Exactly.
Or at least done a dock that made it run better. If you were going to dock it. But whatever. So, this is coming out. It starts at $399, but that is for the base model. That is a 64 gig model that includes a carrying case. There is a 500
gigabytes of eMMC.
Yeah. That which is an important distinction because the $529 model is 256 gigabytes of storage, but it is an NVMe SSD.
Mm-hmm.
So it is faster storage and more storage.
Exactly.
You also get the carrying case and an exclusive Steam Community Profile Bundle. And then the $649 option is a 512 gig SSD, NVMe SSD, so double the storage. Faster storage, premium anti-glare etched glass, an exclusive carrying case, so you get a different one with that one. Mm-hmm. You get the same exclusive, I'm assuming it's the same exclusive Steam Community Profile Bundle. Probably. And then a virtual keyboard theme that is exclusive for that as well. Expected availability is after Q2 of 2022. Mm-hmm. So that's still a little bit a way out. But there's a pretty good reason to do this. This is like, I don't know, this is calling for the PC gamer that didn't do a Switch in case they didn't like Nintendo intellectual property for whatever reason, because I think they have some pretty compelling titles, but not everybody's cup of tea is Mario and Zelda. So yeah, I can understand if people didn't want to do the Switch because they're not into those said games. This is like calling to those who were into like the PSP and whatnot back in the day. Like a true successor.
See, and the cool thing about this is that it's literally just a PC, so you can install whatever you want to on it. You can install an emulator on there and play Nintendo games. You could play PlayStation games, PS1, PS2, whatever. You're not just limited to what's on the Steam store. I mean, granted, that's going to be the majority of what you're probably going to play, but you also have those other options as well. Yeah.
So this is like, I could think of one really good. Now, it might be a bit expensive for this, so you'd have to be pretty careful about this, but this would be really, really good for like those long drives with the kids in the back and just have like a really good offline game that they could be occupied for a long time. That'd be really cool for this. It'd also be really cool for anybody else who has, time to play portable games somewhere. Mm-hmm. Not entirely sure that we would be the target audience for said device. If I'm going to play a computer game, I'm going to do it at my computer. Yeah. Because I don't have time to do it anywhere else. So I don't see me doing it.
Yeah. No, I'm with you on that. Okay. Well, I think that closes us out on the Steam Deck end of things. Shall we move on to our discussion?
Let's do it.
All right. So, finally, we're going to talk about the last 3 episodes of Loki. Let's get started with episode 4, the Nexus event. Sylvie tells Loki that she escaped from the TVA as a child. They form a romantic bond which creates a unique branch timeline and alerts the TVA to find and arrest them before Lamentis 1 is destroyed. Mobius leaves Loki in a time loop of a bad memory he has of Sif, while Sylvie unlocks B-15's memories to prove that B-15 is a variant. Renslayer tells Mobius that C-20 died from a mental breakdown, but Mobius finds a recording of Renslayer interrogating a mentally sound C-20, who insists that the TVA workers are all variants. Mobius frees Loki from the time loop, but Renslayer confronts them and has Mobius pruned. Renslayer takes Loki and Sylvie to the Timekeepers, who order Loki and Sylvie to be deleted. With B-15's help, Loki and Sylvie defeat Renslayer and the Timekeepers' guards. Sylvie beheads one of the timekeepers, but discovers they are androids before a recovered Renslayer prunes Loki. Sylvie overpowers Renslayer and demands the truth. In a mid-credits scene, Loki awakens surrounded by several other Loki variants. So this episode is where we finally started to turn the whole TVA thing up on its head. Because at this point we kind of knew that everything was not what it seemed, but this just confirmed it. Like, we know now that if the timekeepers are real, they're not these things. And they're still out there. They're still out there controlling this timeline in the TVA. So there's still a little bit of work left to do before Sylvie and Loki can rest easy.
Problem that I had with this episode in the beginning, and maybe it was just me not grappling the significance of the fact that the timekeepers were an android of some type.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think it was necessarily made out to be that big of a deal. Like, it just seemed like, oh, well, then they've just, moved these guys somewhere else in an attempt to keep Sylvie away from them. Like, the significance of what was happening didn't seem to be driven home to me. At least not until the next episode. Maybe that's just on me for not catching it right off the... I mean, I saw what happened, but it didn't seem that important to me.
Mm-hmm.
What really drove the significance of things aren't what they seem to be, and that Sylvie has been, for the most part, truthful in everything so far, was the whole B-15 thing. And clearly Renslayer being on some kind of mission from God knows what, causing issues. Like, she's the mastermind or something. What? Yes, I'm trying to do something. Lord have mercy. Had nothing but problems all night long, and you're trying to interrupt when some stuff are working good. Whatever. Well, when I didn't answer, you should have stopped knocking. How many times are you planning on knocking? Shoo, fly, shoo. Anyways, go ahead with your discussion.
Yeah, I don't know. I think I'm I think I'm kind of with you on that. I like the kind of progression of events that this episode followed, because we find out that the timekeepers aren't real, and then Loki is pruned. So we don't know what's happening. We up until this point we've assumed that pruning something means that it no longer exists, which is still technically true, but only technically. Which is why I find it I think it's really cool.
Very weird, very mystic.
Yeah.
Calling anything or foreshadowing anything in Loki has proven to be very, 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 very challenging up until this point.
Yeah, there's no way that anybody could have predicted exactly what happened. I mean, so I did already kind of know who was behind the TVA. Because I'd been kind of following some theories, but we'll get into that when we get to the last episode. So let's move on to episode 5, Journey into Mystery. Renslayer tells Sylvie that when Loki was pruned, he was sent to the void at the end of time, from which nothing has ever returned. They deduce that the TVA's true creator is hiding beyond the void. TVA mascot Miss Minute stalls for time until TVA troopers surround Sylvie, who prunes herself and soon meets Mobius in the void. After interrogating B-15, Renslayer plans to reach the TBA's true creator. Meanwhile, the other Loki variants tell Loki that a massive cloud-like creature called alzhe destroys everything in the void. After encountering a second Loki group that devolves into infighting, classic Loki helps Loki, Alligator Loki, and Kid Loki escape. They come across Mobius and Sylvie, and Mobius returns to the TVA using a tempad that Sylvie brought with her. Sylvie attempts to enchant Ioloth while Loki distracts it, but they fail until classic Loki sacrifices himself, creating an illusion of Asgard to draw Elias' attention. Loki and Sylvie successfully enchant Elias together, and the creature shows them the way to a citadel beyond the void. So I think this one was my favorite. It's not even like a B-plot episode, because it definitely moves the entire plot forward. But I just love all of the different Loki variants. They're so hilarious, especially the alligator one. That is just... I'm still not 100% sure whether that's a Loki variant or not, or it's just a Loki, or it's just an alligator that happened to have a Loki helmet on. But either way, it's fabulous. I love it.
That whole episode was one giant humor fest. Like the whole infighting scene that broke out into fighting it's just classic Loki. Like the backstabbing was real. Mm-hmm. The double-sided mutiny was real. I mean, that is classic Loki moves that we, for the most part, haven't really seen in the series. I mean, we see the beginning episode and maybe a little bit of the second, but not really.
We get a little bit of it between Loki and Mobius, but that's about it. That's is about probably it. Like the most humor that we've gotten in an episode.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and it just it just brought back like humorous Tom Hiddleston in a good way, because you know, for the most part, we've seen a pretty dramatic evolution in his character arc that I thought we were going to lose significant parts of from when we see what happens in the beginning credits of Endgame to what we see happen in New York during the time heist and the opening events of Loki itself being that said time heist scenario where he finally got away once again with the Tesseract, no thanks to Hulk, of all people. And, you know, I thought we were going to lose a significant character arc that I liked, but I wouldn't have minded. And we didn't really lose it. I mean, we got back on track with this character arc pretty quick. So this episode was needed. It was like, okay, this is fun. This is the Loki we like to see.
Yeah.
And then we can get back to seriousness.
Yes. Yeah, I definitely... I like that they brought back the humor right before we get... Because this next episode is like nothing but business. There's almost no humor in this next one.
No.
Oh, okay. So let's move on to the final episode, because I think this is the one that we're going to have to break down the most, because this leads into so many other things in the future. So, episode 6, For All Time, Always. Renslayer leaves on a mission to find free will after Miss Minutes gives her the information from the TBA's creator, He Who Remains. B-15 proves to TVA troopers that they are variants by showing them a Renslayer variant who is a high school principal. Meanwhile, in the Citadel at the end of time, He Who Remains tells Loki and Sylvie that he ended a multiversal war between his variants using alzhe to destroy alternate timelines and created the TVA to maintain this peace. As he has grown weary, he offers them a choice: kill him and risk another multiversal war, or replace him and overseeing the TVA in a singular timeline. Sylvie wants to kill him, but Loki pleads with her to stop. They kiss, but Sylvie sends Loki back to TVA headquarters. She kills He Who Remains, unleashing a multiverse with alternate timelines the TVA cannot prune. At TVA headquarters, Loki warns Mobius and B-15 about He Who Remains variants, but they do not recognize him, and Loki sees that a statue of one of the variants has replaced the statues of the Timekeepers. Okay, so I was saying that I kind of knew who this character, excuse me, this character behind the TVA who would be, and I was half right. So the character is called He Who Remains. This is a character in the comics, but they've kind of mixed him with another character in the comics, which is going to be, I don't know if they're making him the next like big 3-phase villain like they did with Thanos, or if he is going to be the focus of the next Avengers movie, or what's going to happen. But it's a character, a mixture of He Who Remains and Kang the Conqueror. Kang the Conqueror he's got the basic backstory of that He Who Remains gives in this, and that he's like a scientist and he finds the multiverse. And it ends up going to war. In the comics, King the Conqueror is on a quest to like conquer all of time. But they've kind of mixed it with the He Who Remains, who in the comics is the last TVA agent ever to exist, who, it's like this weird circular pattern. He creates the TVA to ensure that the timeline doesn't go into disarray, which then circles back around to him being the last TVA agent, and he creates the TVA again. It's a long, complicated circle that doesn't necessarily make a whole ton of sense, but that's what comic books are, so you know. So they've mixed He Who Remains with a version of Kang the Conqueror, and obviously by killing He Who Remains, they've unleashed Kang's variants, and I know a variant of Kang the Conqueror is confirmed to be in the next Doctor Strange movie. But I'm betting that the big bad Kang the Conqueror is going to be the villain of the next Avengers movie, whenever that happens to come out. We've got a long way to go before that happens, I think. We still got Doctor Strange. We've got the next Spider-Man movie. We've got the Eternals that's coming out soon. So many other things that are coming out before we could even think about having another Avengers movie. So, yeah. I don't know. This is I hate that it ended the way that it did. I am glad that we're getting a second season. God only knows when that's going to come, because sheesh. But I am excited to see exactly where this takes us, and I think we're going to get more answers as far as that goes with Doctor Strange.
Yeah, I would agree with that. Doctor Strange seems to be the movie that we need to establish precedent as to exactly what this means. Because so far it's been pure speculation.
Yeah.
As to what exactly all this nonsense means. Maybe it'll set rules and guidelines for what to expect. Maybe it's not possible, given that we are now dealing with the multiverse and there are multiple different times and variations and whatnot that could happen. So it's hard to say whether or not there can be like an organized chaos that we could follow with this new setup. There's got to be something to hold on to and something to grasp onto. A common enemy. I don't know. Like you said, I don't know if this is going to end up being like the next big person that all these films are going to culminate into. I feel like they're going to do something with that type of strategy. Like, why would you break precedent now that all of these are not just part of the one giant picture? I don't see them straying from that formula. It doesn't have to be the same thing, though. It doesn't necessarily have to mean that, this is going to be the underlying theme for all of them, and it be one person like Thanos was. But it could do it again. But I'd be afraid that the fan base would eventually get bored with that.
Yeah.
There'd be too much predictability in that. So, an underlying thing to hold everything together is probably going to be necessary and great, but it doesn't necessarily mean it's going to be this guy. Because, if it is, then we've already called it now, and that's going to be pretty dissatisfying, I think, going forward. So I can't wait to see what they throw at us. It's going to be crazy. It's going to be fun. I'm really confused as to what exactly happened with Loki himself when he was sent back to the TVA. I'm just going to assume that he was sent back to a different alternate version and found B-15 and Mobius, because then we have that statue that's there. Unless the insinuation is that the entire timeline as we know it has been completely changed. But I'm just going to assume that he's just on an alternate one. He got sent back to a different version of the TVA on a different timeline than what he left.
Yeah. I'm thinking that's what happened. Yeah.
Because I had no idea who he was.
So, something that's really interesting. I don't know if you've seen this theory yet, but apparently, I don't know who thought to do this, but apparently if you sync up the finales of WandaVision and Loki, that the moment where Wanda becomes the Scarlet Witch is the exact same moment where the timeline where He Who Remains doesn't know what happens next, where the timeline basically stops.
That was an interesting thing. I almost forgot about that. He made it sound like he knows everything. Mm-hmm. He knows he's got these transcripts. He does the exact same thing that Mobius did to, well, it wasn't Mobius, but it was somebody within the TVA before we met Mobius, did to Loki in the very first episode, where he says, sign here to acknowledge that these are everything that you said, and it literally immediately teletypes out I think it was "This is ridiculous," saying that he said for that response. And then you're right, he just didn't know. He's like, I don't know what's happening. Mm-hmm. So I was wondering, what does that mean? Because then we see in the background the branching has started, but she hasn't done anything to him yet. She didn't kill him.
Yeah, exactly.
Until well after. So what exactly is that moment?
You see in if you remember in the WandaVision finale, Agatha says that the Scarlet Witch is something that's not supposed to exist. So the fact that Wanda does exist, that she does become this Scarlet Witch, maybe is what breaks the timeline. And obviously, there's probably not going to ever be any confirmation of this. Maybe we'll never know. But I find it very interesting that I find it very interesting that those two moments sync up.
We're going to have to go back and watch the ending of WandaVision then, and form conclusions on that.
Yeah.
That's interesting.
Okay, well, I think we've done enough speculation on this. Do we want to talk about Black Widow?
Yes, let's.
Okay, let me pull up the synopsis. And then we can get into exactly what we thought of it. All right. Black Widow. So, Natasha Romanoff, aka Black Widow, confronts the darker parts of her ledger when a dangerous conspiracy with ties to her past arises. Pursued by a force that will stop at nothing to bring her down, Natasha must deal with her history as a spy and the broken relationships left in her wake long before she became an Avenger. So, what are your thoughts on this movie? What did you like it, first of all?
Okay, so I don't know why I had the impression it could be just my lack of paying attention during the trailer. Something gave me the impression that this was going to be set before her time with the Avengers, not after the Sokovia Accords incident and the eventual breakup of the Avengers, before we have to reassemble for the events of everything that happened with Infinity War and Endgame. So I was very happy to see it was set during that time of the great falling out, I guess you could call it. Mm-hmm. But it also gave a really, really tied up bow for her origin story as well.
Yeah.
So I really, really liked it. And then I really liked the fact that it made perfect sense why Black Widow was so delayed, but why it didn't matter as far as the MCU timeline went, because this had nothing to do with what is going to happen with the multiverse. So, because I was a little confused, okay, is Black Widow somehow supposed to introduce us or something? But then we got WandaVision, and then we got Loki before we got the movie, and it's like, okay, where does this fit? And now it makes perfect sense why that seemed to be what was supposed to be launched last year, and why it was so far ahead of Loki and WandaVision, and why it didn't matter that we started watching those before we got this movie. It just happened to be COVID delayed it. It didn't mess anything up as far as the big plan goes. So I was relieved by that. The entire movie itself, I really, really liked. I felt vindication for what had happened. Because I still feel that, and clearly so does other people, at least as far as the movie is concerned, because now we've got the end credit scene that we'll have to get into. Mm-hmm. I felt she was done wrong during the whole time heist. And this kind of set things right as far as I was concerned on that front.
I liked the movie. I'm glad that it wasn't like a full-blown origin story. It was more like an origin story mixed with a where were they sort of thing.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not sure. I liked the movie. Don't get me wrong, but I'm not sure if it's one of the stronger entries of the MCU, especially considering what we got with the last Avengers movie, and even the couple before that, like with Thor Ragnarok and all that.
It's probably more akin to like Iron Man 2, but more Iron Man 3, and some people would probably disagree. Galaxy 2, not the first one, but the second one wasn't the best, but it was solidly in the middle. It wasn't the bottom of the list, but you're right. It wasn't near the top either.
Yeah. I like I said, it's a decent movie. I did enjoy it. I'm glad that we got a little bit more of Natasha. Besides her final her final appearance in Endgame, or in in Endgame. Um, and I liked the whole family dynamic that she had with her, like her quote unquote parents, because they weren't really her parents. Especially the dad, the red. What was his name? Red, red, not Red Avenger. Uh, Red Guardian. That's what he was. Uh, I loved him. He was so funny. And I also really liked the sort of the end credit scene that was setting up what we're going to see in the Hawkeye miniseries. That's going to be fun.
Now that made sense.
Yes.
As far as, why Black Widow needed to be where it was supposed to be as far as the timeline goes. So that we could get launched into Hawkeye. Which kind of, it's one of those things. I'm kind of amazed we got teased the series that we did with the whole Disney Plus announcement in the beginning, because I don't remember anything about Loki, and I could be wrong and I could have missed it. I don't remember anything about Loki, and I don't really remember anything about WandaVision. But I do remember Falcon and the Winter Soldier, and I do remember the Hawkeye series. Like, that thing's been teased since the beginning. And yet it is so far out as far as what everything else came before it goes. Maybe it could have been out already had we not had to set Black Widow back so far, but
probably
it's hard to say because, they could be just as far as behind on production on that as everything else is because of the pandemic. So Lord only knows. I don't know. They could have intended to have it out soon, if not already, had things gone originally on time schedule, or they could have intended it not to come out till. Do we have a date yet? As far as when they say they're coming out with it, is it going to be like a next year thing? Yeah,
I'm not sure. Hawkeye, Disney Plus, release dates. It's this year sometime. I want to say it's probably gonna be like holiday 2021.
And yet Disney Plus has been out, 2 years now?
Something like that, yeah.
So it's just funny that, we got that teased first, but it's so far out as far as when it actually came out. I don't know.
Well, see, this is what we praise Marvel for, right? They have a plan. Whether or not they have all of the pieces put into place when that plan starts into motion, I mean, that I'm not 100% sure about, because, it did say that when they were making Endgame and they did the little flashback scene with Loki taking the Infinity Stone, or taking the Tesseract, they had filmed that without knowing that there was going to be a Loki TV series. So that just happened to be a perfect jumping off point into the series, which happened to be a perfect jumping off point for introducing the multiverse into Phase 4. So I like that they have a plan going into these phases. I don't know how focused that plan is going to be now that we're effectively going to have two different types of films and series. Because we're going to have ones that deal with the multiverse, and then we're going to have ones that don't. We've already had one with Falcon and the Winter Soldier that didn't at all. And it could be argued that WandaVision didn't too. I don't know. I'm kind of iffy on that right now. Loki definitely did. We know Doctor Strange will. We know that Spider-Man will. How is Hawkeye going to? How is the Eternals going to? So we'll see how their plan kind of weaves in and out of those two types of films and series.
It could just be as simple and explained away as easily as just where it lands on the timeline itself. You could put the Eternals, let's say you put the Eternals before the 2012 attack on New York. You could put, I don't know where you're going to put Hawkeye. Hawkeye could just purely
Hawkeye's
focus.
Going to have to be after Endgame.
Yeah, it could just purely, well, true. That's going to be hard, because how far after Endgame are we talking? If we go by the possible precedent set by the Scarlet Witch theory, then creating the multiverse, or at least the start of the chain reaction that led to the multiverse, then we're only talking a few weeks.
Yeah, realistically.
As established by WandaVision.
Mm-hmm.
That's not a whole lot of time before you immediately start jumping into... Because that start of let's call it the Nexus event, the start of the multiverse, that's got to have a pretty immediate effect. You would think
so, yeah.
that would be like almost instantaneous. Things are going to start going down in weird ways. And it sounds like it's going to be, considering, we've already confirmed Doctor Strange and Spider-Man, which are our next two films, chronologically speaking, following Endgame, that focuses on the original set of Phase 3 and closing Phase 3 characters, let's say.
Mm-hmm.
And, it's going to be hard to say where Eternals falls in. They could easily throw that before, because they haven't been established yet.
Yeah.
But
we'll just have to wait and see. I have faith that whatever happens is going to be just fine, Yeah. I mean, they've been doing pretty decently for going on over a decade now, so we'll just have to wait and see. I'm excited for what they've got coming up in the future, I think.
Yeah.
All right, well, let's move on to the final section of the show. We don't have a ton of trailers this week because there weren't really that much that I really wanted to take a look at. We do have another Dune trailer, and we have 3 other random ones that I just happened to find because the titles seemed pretty interesting. So we'll see. We haven't had to do this in a while. We've had good trailers for a few months. So we haven't had to dig into the depths of the indie trailer scene that we were doing for, like a year almost, because of the pandemic last year. So, yeah, we'll see. All right. Anyways, if you haven't seen our trailer section before, basically what we're going to do is we're going to watch the trailer, and then we're going to tell you whether we'd go see it in the theater, whether we'd wait for a review, wait for rental, or whether we wouldn't see it at all. It has to be very bad for us not to want to see it at all. So if we say that, you're probably not going to watch it. Anyway, let's move on to the first trailer for Dune.
My planet Arrakis is so beautiful when the sun is low. Rolling over the sands, you can see spice in the air. The outsiders ravage our lands in front of our eyes. Their cruelty to my people is all I've known. What's to become of our world?
A boy.
Hey, Duncan, can I trust you with something?
Yes, always. You know that.
I've been having dreams about a girl on Arrakis. I don't know what it means.
Dreams make good stories. But everything important happens when we're awake. Hey, you. Want some muscle?
I did?
No.
We are House Atreides. There is no call we do not answer. There is no faith that we betray.
Smile, Gurney.
I am smiling.
The Emperor asks us to bring peace to Arrakis. House Atreides accepts!
I know you. There's something awakening in my mind.
You need to face your fears.
Come with me.
So many people in this movie. Oh my gosh.
I know. I wish I could say that I had the slightest clue as to what was going on, but I honestly don't.
I don't either. I mean, it looks cool, and when it drops on HBO Max, I will more than likely watch it, but good God. I'm still not 100% sure where it's what's happening with it.
No, I have no clue. But
This
it does
is-
look good, so
This is one of those rare cases where even though we don't necessarily know what's going on, I think this trailer pulls you along long enough enough to where you know that it's probably going to be good. It looks good.
I
I
could
would
buy
say this is one of those movies where I think we would go see it in a theater if we live near each other.
probably.
But as it stands, I think I'd wait for rental.
Agreed.
All right. So next trailer we've got is for a movie called No Man of God.
You think you're smarter than him. You think you're going to be the one that's going to get him to confess.
Well, I don't think I'm smarter, sir. I don't think you necessarily have to be smarter.
This is what's going to happen. He will come down. He'll toy with you for a little while.
Does your son know what you do?
He knows his daddy protects people.
He will cat and mouse with you. He will make you think you are getting somewhere.
Let's record him. Let's get this party started.
It is February 13th, 1986. This is Agent Bill Hagmeyer. I'm sitting with Theodore.
No, Ted.
I'm sitting with Ted Bundy.
Ted Bundy has 13 hours to live, and he is using those hours to try and buy himself more time.
He's ready to talk. He said he's ready to confess to everything, but only talk to one person. There are families out there looking for answers.
The world needs to know why he killed those girls.
You're some hotshot young upstart, and I'm your next big case. You're going to be the guy who broke me. There are a lot of myths and misunderstandings about me.
What are you going to tell me?
Everything.
I do not want to be Ted Bundy's best friend. I shudder. I shudder at the thought.
I have to admit, I do not know off the top of my head exactly what this is supposed to be about. Like, I don't know the specifics of the case. I never really looked into the thoughts and actions of Ted Bundy. Nor have I ever wanted to. So, probably a good reason why I haven't. It just doesn't interest me. I don't pretend to know. Was he a sociopath or was he just a serial killer?
He was a little bit psychotic, I would say. Well, yeah, more sociopathic. But he was definitely a serial killer, yes.
I don't know. Like, the closest I get to this type of stuff is freaking rewatching Law and Order SVU. Which is not the same thing, but it's like, no.
Would you rather watch things about fake bad guys or watch things about real bad guys that let you be depressed in how terrible humanity is?
I'd rather just watch my fake nonfiction. I just said nonfiction. Lord have mercy. Oh, Lord. Losing my words here. I'd rather be lost than a world of fiction.
You got the Alzheimer's, David.
I do. Give me my fiction stories. I don't care if it's not fact. It's fun.
Yeah, I'm with you.
And I don't have to be depressed that humans are scum.
Okay, I would say... I mean, the trailer looks fine enough. I'd probably say wait for review. This doesn't... It looks okay. It just doesn't look like...
It's not something I'd watch.
Yeah. No, you're not. You're gonna say you're not gonna watch it?
I wouldn't watch it. This just isn't me.
Fair. It's fair, yeah. This wouldn't be everybody's cup of tea. It looks interesting.
Yes.
But
it looks interesting. Based on the trailer, I would say wait for a review.
That's fair. Yeah.
I am not going to watch it. End of discussion. But based on the trailer and the rating from the trailer, it's wait for a review.
All right. Let's move on to the next one called Sweet Girl.
The past is like a dream.
Suspect is armed and dangerous.
Images and feelings that offer some truth about how we got here. Even if details have blurred with time.
I had a dream last night about that trip we took with Mom in the woods. I miss her. I miss her family.
My wife was supposed to start a new medication.
The company that makes the drug pulled it off the market.
Paying competitors to sell generic brands of drugs? That is immoral.
Our next caller is from Pittsburgh.
If my wife dies,
It's your death sentence. I can help you get justice for what happened to your wife.
Who's that?
Local family gets ravaged by big pharma's greed. We could blow this thing wide open.
I'm not sure if I fully understood what was going on there.
Wife's dying of cancer.
I got that, yeah.
Supposed to have a new life-saving drug hit the market. Big Pharma pulls it in the interest of some corporate greed scheme, but I don't quite exactly understand why it was pulled. That part I missed. But then, I guess, from what I could gather, we have a reporter, I'm assuming, who's going to help get this guy justice by exposing what is going on. I think. And then Big Pharma goes after him, I think.
Yeah, see,
it's not clear.
There's too many I thinks for me to be comfortable with how this show
I know.
went.
And then you bring in a, I don't know, 1970s rock song from Guns N' Roses.
Sweet Child of Mine did not make sense in this trailer.
Like, why is that song in this trailer at all?
What?
Like, I lost all confidence in the film as soon as that decision was made.
Yeah,
it
doesn't
goes
make
to
any sense.
Further support my decision to cancel Netflix.
Yep.
Because they've not made anything that's compelling. And then I keep seeing stuff like this. I'm like, why?
I don't understand it.
You've lost
I
me.
would. I'm gonna say I wouldn't. I wouldn't watch that. There's nothing in that trailer that compels me to want to watch that.
Except the song that doesn't exist. Well, it shouldn't exist in that trailer. It exists for no reason.
That compels me even more to not watch it.
To not watch it?
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, it sounded easy to explain until you had to keep adding I think, and it's like, oh wow, yeah.
See, I got to the same point you did, but then it was like, but why? Why does this pharmaceutical company have so many hired guns coming after this one guy?
I don't know.
Yeah. I'm not gonna see it. It looks terrible. I'm glad I don't have Netflix anymore.
Agreed.
Okay. Final trailer of the night is for Malignant.
I'm having visions.
The body of Dr. Florence Weaver was found brutally murdered in her home this morning.
Did you know her? No, but I saw her die. I'm seeing things. I'm seeing murders as they're happening. He says his name is Gabriel. I think he's someone from my past.
Happy birthday.
Whatever happened to you before you joined our family hurt you in a way that I can't even imagine.
Stop saying that.
Maddie, who are you talking to?
Gabriel.
Is he your imaginary friend? Imaginary?
He's the devil.
Okay, then. That was interesting.
It looks interesting. I would not see this without anybody else.
I'm with you.
I'm
with you on that.
David would pee his pants movie. I don't. All of these types of movies, it scares the living bejesus out of me for no rational reason whatsoever. Like, I'm fairly confident that this can't happen, but there's always that small chance.
Mm-hmm. I know what you mean.
And I'm like, nope, not touching that. No, thank you.
I have a theory about what this movie might be based on the title, though.
Something to do with cancer?
So my theory is that she is the one that's doing all of the murders. But she's got like this tumor that's recessing her memories and making her relive it from a different point of view.
Possibly. I could see that.
I mean,
that's a very interesting
It seems
theory.
like a weird thing to call a type of movie like this, right?
It really does.
I mean, the only time you hear of the word malignant is in Malignant Tumor, so
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. Anyway, yeah, I'm with you. I think I wouldn't see this without somebody else. Like at all. Nope.
Lights on type of activity.
That's right. Uh-huh. Oh, all right. Well, that is where we're going to leave this episode, guys. Thank you so much for listening. Be sure to leave a rating on whatever podcasting platform you happen to be listening on. If you're on YouTube, be sure to like and subscribe and turn on notifications and all that good stuff. And yeah, we will see you guys in the next episode. Bye-bye.
Bye, guys. Thanks for listening to this episode of Podcast Period. This episode was hosted and produced by Ben, co-hosted and edited by David. You can contact Ben on Twitter at BenPlaysVidges. That's Ben Plays, VIDYAS. And you can contact David on Twitter at Car6by16. If you'd like to chat with us about any of the topics on this episode, you can hit the show up at Podcast Period on Twitter, or shoot us an email at podcastperiodpodcast@gmail.com. That's all for this episode. We'll see you next time.
This was a Nerdgasm Podcast production.
Well, that was another in a long series of regrettable life choices.
Served at nerdgasmpodcast.com.